All right, welcome everyone. Secrets of swim photography. Gonna have a massive audience on today, so I'm really excited. And I see a lot of amazing familiar faces joining us already, which I really love. In fact, a bunch of our attendees of our Epic workshops are on right now, which I love to see. If you guys have any questions throughout this, please post it in the chat, in the Q&A rather than the chat. That's always the most ideal. All right, guys. All right, we're gonna have a massive audience, so I'm letting a few people join. But now is the time we're gonna begin. Kevin Michael Schmitz here, and I want to talk about one of my favorite subject matter to photograph, which is swimsuit photography. And this whole webinar today is going to be dedicated solely to shooting high-end swim photography, photographing Sports Illustrated swimsuit models, photographing models that have been shooting for Victoria's Secret, girls that have been in Miss Universe, girls that have been on the cover of Playboy, all these supermodels that we have had the chance to photograph over the last few years at our Epic workshops, including just this last month down in Miami Beach and Key Biscayne, photographing some of the most unbelievable top models we've ever had a chance to photograph. And you got to see some of the video playing as well, where we were able to create unbelievable photographic editorials and swimsuit video content, creating an unbelievable swim reel. Now, why is this important? So a lot of our photographers that, if you love to shoot swimsuit photography, you love to photograph world-class top models, many of you want to be like, hey, how can I do this as a career? What do I need to do to make this happen? And how can I create this and manifest this amazing opportunity, this amazing dream life and dream career for myself? So I'm going to reveal a whole series of secrets of how to make that happen, not only from the creative standpoint, as well as the selection of the models, as well as casting and finding the models and convincing them to work with you, getting published in major editorials, which is absolutely key and critical, getting publication and having the amazing publicity and PR that comes from being published, but then also how to actually do it as a viable business and how to make a living as a swimsuit photographer. Because it's definitely a whole different beast when it comes to the marketing, the business side, the building relationships, all of that aspect. There's so many important critical factors, and I'm here to help you guys every step of the way. So this is an amazing, amazing opportunity that I am really excited to have all of you incredible people on here. And I want to make sure that you guys, if you have questions, again, please put it in the Q&A so that we can go over it. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to, to meet some of you guys. I'm also going to have an amazing panelist as well, the great Priscilla Evans, which will also be, she's our production coordinator, and she's going to be helping us as well as far as making sure that you guys understand on some of the production side, how we can maximize our photographic potential, how to actually produce unbelievable content and create stuff that is just absolutely out of this world. So, all right, guys. So, most importantly, and I see there's some questions already, and I'd love to get to them. But making sure that you guys understand that developing an unbelievable photographic portfolio at the highest level is going to be key and critical to maximizing your photographic career. And where does that start? Of course, it starts with developing the unbelievable content with supermodels. Now, when we create content, when you're shooting unbelievable top models, one of the things to keep in consideration is, okay, are these models recognizable? Okay. if the models are recognizable, if the models have the ability to create incredible content that is going to be recognizable on major publications, covers of magazines. And we get a lot of shoots where we're shooting fashion shoots for Vogue, Vanity Fair, Harper's Bazaar, models that are gracing the covers of the campaigns for Dolce & Gabbana. And we're, shooting with these unbelievable models out in these incredible locations, like this, like we're shooting out in New York, or we're creating these, incredible sequences and incredible scenes. Very, very important to get models at the highest level. For me, I want to make sure that when you guys are creating content at this, with this level, and making sure that the models are world class, making sure that the styling is completely over the top. And when you're shooting swimsuit photography, making sure also that you have amazing content and world class swimsuit photography. This is some of the content that we shot at our Miami Beach workshop, just one of our last ones, which was incredible. This was just a couple of years ago. And this was really cool to see. And by the way, and this is great to hear from some of our photographers like Belinda Roy, who's in Orléans, France, and it's 11 o'clock in the evening, so it's good to see you. Wonderful to have you guys on. And by the way, guys, content like this is the kind of stuff that we need. Content like this is the kind of stuff that's going to book you jobs, and it's going to get you in as many opportunities as possible. Because the quality, the models are over the top, the art direction, the posing, all of those things are absolutely critical, key, and important. And I'm so proud of our photographers for shooting content like this. Because by the way, all this content that I'm showing you today, this is not just content that I've had that chance to photograph. This is also content that I was directing, art directing, creating, and telling the story. But my photographers, the ones that have joined me on our elite photographic workshops at the photography workshop series, were the ones photographing and filming all of this incredible content under my guidance, creating the best content they've ever shot in their lifetime. And that's what's really special. And that's what's unique about what we're doing is I'm here to guide you as photographers. And I love to hear from it. And, if many of you guys have attended a lot of our webinars, in fact, the last webinar we had a whole series of our photographers that attended the Miami Beach workshop talk about it personally. And I absolutely loved it. But to actually see what they're shooting, and this is all shot by our attendees, by our photographers, the ones that actually are attending these epic experiences. They're photographing on location with supermodels like this, Nastasia. They're photographing with Alexa Collins. They're photographing with this Natalia, who is the Miss Brazil. They're photographing with Haley Maxfield, who's the cover of Playboy. World-class top models and supermodels. And we've had the chance to create just insane content, okay? Now, I want to get to each and every one of your guys' questions, and you have plenty of them that are great. So I want to definitely make sure that that you guys ask some good questions, and we can go into them in depth as far as okay, what do we need to do to make you a more successful photographer? What do we need to do to give you the option to be able to shoot models at that level? So the first step is when we get into the casting, and that means the model selection. That means selecting incredible models, world-class top supermodels that are so over the top that, no matter how good the photography is, even if it's not as great, the portfolio has unbelievable supermodels and faces that just blow away the audience. I mean, there's certain models, like you've been watching them right there, where the models are so strong that and they're recognizable faces that the audience is just immediately engaged, immediately excited, immediately just like, oh my goodness, like I can't even believe that that you've got, that if the photographer shot that, they're like, wow, that image is incredible off the bat, no matter how good the photography is. Because it's not just about how good and strong your photography is. A lot of it has to do with how incredible and amazing the models are. And that is what I want to also get into, because having unbelievable models in your images is key, but without the incredible portfolio to make that happen, it's really hard to convince modeling agencies like Elite, Wilhelmina, Next, Vision, all those top models. It's very, very hard to make sure all of this stuff is absolutely incredible at the highest level without the models already in your book. So many of you are like, okay, well, if I already, how do I get world-class models to book if I don't already have those unbelievable models in my portfolio? You know, how do I create that? And that's a challenge because many of you guys are, you know, say working with, you know, model tests or shooting with people, you know, or photographing model portfolios for people or working with just normal people instead of supermodels. Those kind of portfolio images aren't going to get you to that higher level. They're just not going to allow you to get to the upper level of what you want to achieve. So I want to make sure that when you guys are creating your content, that you're creating content that has a direction of where the client wants you. Meaning, like if you're shooting for a swim campaign, you know, the client is not going to want to see model portfolio shoots. They're going to want to see swim campaign shoots, content that is so epic that you could see it on a major swimsuit advertising campaign. You know, whether it's for, you know, say a brand like Venus, which is a major swim brand, if it's for Sports Illustrated, if it's for, you know, Revolve, you know, or, you know, Beach Bunny swimwear, whatever the swim line is, I want to make sure that your content looks as though it can be for a major advertising campaign. So if you are shooting a model portfolio shoot, for instance, make sure that you're shooting it not for the model, but you're shooting it for yourself, meaning shooting it like it should be a campaign for Venus or a campaign for Sports Illustrated, or, you know, you're shooting for Victoria's Secret. Make sure that you're shooting it for that intention. Don't shoot it for the model, shoot it for yourself. Very, very important. Now, of course, if you want to be able to achieve this at the highest level, that's why many of you guys, I do recommend you join these epic experiences with us, because we'll give you access. We'll give you the opportunity to photograph the biggest swimsuit models in the world, the most world-class top talent, whether it's a swim shoot, whether it's lifestyle, whether it's fashion, whether it's, you know, beauty. We have epic experiences across the board, but when we're shooting swim, the quality of that model's face is key. Joining us in a workshop like in Miami Beach, just like you see here, and this, by the way, this is all shot by our attendees. You know, this was, I think, this specific scene right here was shot by Crystal Summer Bear, one of my favorite photographers that has attended the last probably 5 out of 7 workshops of ours. And when we're creating content at this level, now when we have a portfolio like this with models right here, with those eyes, with that face, with those incredible bodies, we can now showcase that to brands, to major brands, and to incredible magazine editorials, to shoot for the ad campaigns, to be able to shoot the lookbooks for designers. All of that is key and critical. Okay, so I want to make sure that you guys are, you know, thinking about that and building that portfolio at the highest level by shooting content that's already at that highest level. Really, really, really important. Okay, so and I'm going to answer a few questions now. So, okay, I draw realistic, and I want to take it to the next level with vector mesh and Photoshop to make it not only as real as possible, but also at the highest quality. So thank you, Matthew. Great question. If you are creating stuff as far as in Photoshop, as far as photoshopping some of this kind of content, it's, you know, it's interesting. When I Photoshop imagery like this, I'm generally going to kind of not do too much. I'm going to keep it as natural as possible, as clean as possible, making it just look real and authentic, and making it look like, you know, the image just was straight out of camera, right? And when I do that, when I'm photographing something like that and I'm retouching it in post-production, I'll give you an example. This was one. This is an example of like, I think a well retouched image. But the girl was kept very natural. The content is still very, the model's stunning. I love the art direction here of the scene and the pose, but also the retouching is really clean. A few modifications happened, Matthew, where there was just a really slight liquefy to maybe thin out the model just a tad, because of certain body positions, and then also to maybe expand on the chest, and then also using some curves layers and make the model pop just a tiny bit, and then also just doing some really minor color correction to make it just a little bit warmer and to make it pop out of the frame. So this example image, which is of course the cover of our webinar, gives an example of some of the retouching. So I think that when you're retouching an image for an editorial or for an advertising campaign, make sure that it's clean, but it's very authentic and real, Matthew. Make sure that you're not going too far. It still looks natural, so you can still see the skin. It's not over smooth. But that's really important. So just, be really aware of that. And by the way, Priscilla is messaging people on the chat here, and she's actually posting some stuff. And I just want to make sure that, guys, ask these questions in the Q&A is what I would really love for you guys to put in there. So, okay, so I'm noticing, Matthew also says, I'm noticing that the images are real enough, and it needs to be skills that you guys edit with. So yeah, absolutely, Matthew. So, the retouching is really important and making sure that it's clean and smooth, but not completely over the top. But good question, Matthew. I love it. And guys, if you have any questions on producing shoots, casting models, selection of models, please put them in the Q&A and we can get to them. So, also, I know we've got some wonderful photographers in here like Felinda Roy, who has attended some of our recent workshops, which is incredible. And I'm really excited, Felinda, to have you on. So wonderful to see you. I know Priscilla Evans, she's our amazing production coordinator. She's on here also answering a lot of questions in the chat. And it looks like Felinda, who just attended our workshop, you've got some great questions and great comments, and it's great to see that you're out shooting in France too, which is fantastic, Felinda. We're actually going to be flying there next week to France, and we're going to be actually shooting there as well. We've got a series of productions going on, and we're going to be at my 49-room Epic Castle in France, by the way, which is going to be really cool. So excellent, guys, to see you guys all on. Now, when it gets to posing, okay, which is something that many of you guys are always asking about. I always have this question. Okay, what are the best poses? How do I get models to look like this? How do I get the models to actually, not look too fake and not look too over the top and not look too cheesy, but look amazing? That look amazing on camera, where they just look natural, they look real, they look authentic, they look beautiful, but they don't look too ridiculous and over the top. And this is, I would say, a very, very fine line when it comes to that. So I really want to make sure that you guys, when you're thinking about posing, start thinking about, okay, the scene has to be beautiful. It has to be sexy, but it doesn't have to be too over the top. I don't want it looking cheesy. Okay. So very, very important. And I know that's a fine line. I know that's hard to kind of understand. And there has to be, I would say that there's a little bit of what I would consider just like having really good taste, making sure that it's not too ridiculous with the arms, the elbows, not too exaggerated. But this is a good example. This is an amazing model named Brooke Brazelton, and she is absolutely stunning, but she also knows how to pose. And I'm coaching her a bit, but she also, you notice the nuances of what she's doing here, right? She's looking at camera, straight on, putting her hands together, moving them up, doing some side shots where she spins around. She's not moving quickly. She's moving actually fairly slowly, but it's enough so that we can capture that frame, move on, capture another frame, and we're keep capturing frames. We're actually shooting multiple frames a second here. And we're shooting with generally fairly long lenses so that it kind of compacts the image. And that's another kind of secret of swim photography. A lot of really high-end swim photography is actually photographed with a very long focal length. So, oftentimes we're shooting this with a 200 millimeter lens. I think we also have some images in here shot with a 300 millimeter lens, but you notice the compact aspect of the background, how it's very compact, and it's also, almost like blurred out, right? But the model is razor sharp, and then you can achieve that with that long focal length of lens, even if your aperture is not super shallow. So oftentimes I don't want an aperture that's f2.8. I'd rather an aperture that's say f9 or f11, because I make sure that if the model's moving, which she is quite a bit, she's also going to be razor sharp, because razor sharp is absolutely key and critical to your images, to make sure that model's razor sharp, whether they're moving in, whether they're moving out. Sharpness is key. And especially if you're shooting the model like walking or running, or if there's 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 models in a scene, absolutely important to have a deep aperture. Now, if I still want to achieve that kind of blurred out, luscious background like you've been seeing in a lot of this content that we filmed, I can achieve that just with a longer focal length, right? And that's how, this kind of shot is captured. So, and then when we're photographing, we're generally going to shoot something like this at a 200 millimeter lens. And, these days, honestly, our ISOs can go up pretty high without losing too much detail. Obviously, I like to shoot an ISO 100, but if I have to go 200, 400, 800, not the end of the world. I'd rather go up on my ISO and still maintain a deep aperture so that everything's in focus. And then with my shutter speed, if the model's moving a lot like this model is, then you know what? I like to have a very fast shutter speed. And that way, we can capture all those movements and we don't get any blur. Really, really important. Okay, so the next thing, guys, is back to posing. You notice all these little poses and all these nuances, even scenes like this where they're walking and strutting. It seems simple, but it's actually a very specific kind of strut that she's doing, right? And it's very much, and by the way, I asked a question on the survey here on the polls of for this webinar about getting published, and I wanted to showcase the results here. Looks like out of all of you guys, 65% of you, one of your goals is to get published in magazines, which is awesome. And about a third of you not interested in getting published, and that's okay. If you're not interested in getting published, maybe you're doing it just for fun, or maybe you're interested in shooting for advertising campaigns as opposed to editorials, which obviously there's a lot more money in it than an editorial. I'm also going to put another poll up here, which workshop. And if you guys are interested in any of this, if you want to shoot with supermodels, and whether it's girls from Playboy, Sports Illustrated, the Guess campaign, whether it's the Miss Universe girl cover of Playboy, any of these amazing models that you actually are going to be seeing on this webinar today that we have access to, these are all from our Miami Beach workshop experience. If you're interested in doing high fashion, we have some epic experiences in New York on high fashion, as well as our Elite Masterclass coming up in October. We also have experiences on fashion and lifestyle in Chicago. We've got stuff in coming up on high fashion in Las Vegas, and then also our Virginia equestrian lifestyle story, which we just directed like a week and a half ago. And we have that coming up in Virginia as well. So if you guys have any interested, experiences that you want to take part in, even if it's a French castle experience at my 49-room castle in France, then let me know. Put it in the polls. I'd love to hear from you guys. It'd be fantastic. So when it comes to posing, you'll notice just kind of the nuances here. And with the way Brooke moves, it's a lot of, it's kind of playful. It's kind of sexy. It's kind, she's pursing her lips, she's opening her lips, she's closing her lips, she's doing different things with her mouth. She's looking up, she's looking out, she's looking in. She's looking down. Those are all nice little nuances that I also really love. These are all just really just small movements. Now, this model too, unbelievable top model at Gabriella. As she's strutting, she's giving that kind of sexy side glance. I also love something like this as well, especially when she puts her chin down, something like that with a little bit of hair flowing in her face. And guys, don't be afraid of having hair flow in the face, because hair flowing in the face is sexy. Hair flowing in the face is absolutely beautiful. So don't be afraid of that. I absolutely love doing that. Now, also, guys, if you're interested also in talking with any of my team, with my world-class photographic consultants, we actually have an opportunity to set up a free one-on-one photographic momentum session with any of the people on our team, and we have some elite photographic consultants. I would strongly recommend you guys take advantage of this. And, for instance, like Priscilla, who's going to be joining us, she's going to be flying to France, to the French castle next week. But you guys could coordinate something where you're actually speaking to her personally, or one of our amazing photographic consultants, such as Andries. She's absolutely incredible, and she works with a lot of our amazing photographers. Or Vincent. Vincent's absolutely, one of my absolute top reps that works with photographic consulting, and he just joined our team recently. Or Sonia, or the great Al Binley, who has also been our panelist as well. And anyone else on our team, if you guys want to join us and set up a one-on-one strategy session, you can even name which photographic consultant that you want to work with. But please go ahead and click on the link in the chat. And I'd love for you guys to, go ahead and set up a one-on-one Zoom strategy session with somebody on our team, and they can work with you personally and go over your photographic goals and discover kind of like what those goals are. Is it to shoot for Sports Illustrated? Is it to shoot for a campaign for Beach Bunny Swimwear or Venus or Revolve? Is it to be able to land the ad campaigns? Or is it to shoot lookbooks for designers? Or maybe you want to shoot something completely different. If you've got something unrelated to all of this, if you guys want to shoot fashion, swim, if you want to shoot portraiture, weddings, whatever that is, I'd love for you guys to talk about that with one of my expert consultants, because they're here to help you guys. They're here to help guide you, and it's a free opportunity. And this is why a lot of my photographers have been able to really advance themselves successfully by attending these free one-on-one sessions. Even if you want to learn how to pose and get a little bit more guidance on that as well. We love to do this, and we're really adamant about helping my photographers. It's very, very important to me to help guide you guys and make sure that you guys have everything at your fingertips to achieve success. We are here for you guys. So now, as and I see some comments here. I know we had silenced our chat to the photographers, but Jeffrey Clark Grossman, great to see you, buddy. And yeah, I know you want to get a repeat of this video. I'm absolutely happy to send that to you and everybody else. You can send you this whole video will be in rebroadcast on our YouTube channel. And I do recommend you guys all join us and watch all of our other 45 recorded photographic webinars that we've done over the last couple of years that are absolutely fantastic on all different types of photography. So it's great, great for you guys to jump on. Okay, so so when it comes to these poses, guys, I like to, just basically coach the model, look into the model's eyes, and I like to kind of guide them, even mirror, because a lot of, it's kind of natural for humans to mirror each other. We've been doing that since we were little babies as children. So we're mirroring those around us, and it makes people understand. It makes people feel more comfortable. It makes people psychologically more connected. I'm actually going to do the same technique when I'm coaching models to pose. So oftentimes I will strike a pose for the model, and I know it might seem ridiculous, but that's okay. It helps guide the model into understanding exactly what I want out of them. So if I'm going to, press my face closer to camera or turn to the side or give a certain expression or energy or place my knee, closer to my other knee. And like, I kind of do a lot of different types of adjustments to their body. I want to show them. If you want to put the elbow up or the hands on the waist, whatever that is, I want to show that to them so they can mirror me. And oftentimes, you guys, that actually works really, really well. So I'm going to be coaching the models on that. Another thing I love to do is I love to give them a posing guide. Okay. So with many of you guys, you probably haven't even thought about this, but what I like to do before a shoot is I like to print out, I like to go on Pinterest because Pinterest is like my best friend. And I love to go on Pinterest and I like to discover some great poses on there, just, collecting some imagery that, you find really interesting, stuff that you love, and coming up with some really great posing techniques just from Pinterest. And I like to print it out so that when I'm on set, when I'm photographing, I've got all of these ideas right in front of me, right at my fingertips. Okay. So I love doing that. So what I'm going to do, for instance, I get on and I've got like a Pinterest page, right? And I think I even did this in Miami Beach at the images, with the images and video you guys are seeing, we printed this out. We put together an inspiration board. We printed this out and we had this right at our fingertips while we were photographing. And I felt like this is a really handy way to have access to be like, all right, I want that pose out of this model. So then you literally just take that, printed out picture, or if you have it on your phone or computer or whatever, or iPad, and place it up next to the model so that while they're, standing there or sitting there and you are photographing them, you just show them the pose and they'll get right into it. Love doing this. I know it sounds silly and simple, but it really, really does work. And I definitely recommend you guys doing that because it's a kind of one of my secrets of swim photography is getting the right poses out of models by showing them exactly what I want. Showing them, okay, this is exactly what I'm looking for, is this type of pose. And by the way, guys, thanks for, answering in on the survey and polls. Which workshop would you be most interested in attending? And it looks like the winner is the Elite Masterclass in October. And that's awesome because that is our most elite photographic workshop of the year. We bring in all these supermodels from the biggest agencies. It's in LA. And it's sold out every single year with a waiting list. So if you guys do want to do that, I think there might be one final spot left. And if you did want to enroll in that one, let us know immediately so we can save your spot so you can join us. But thank you guys so much for answering that. And also, I want to, also ask you guys, if you guys are interested in any of these experiences, how likely are you to come to one of these experiences and take your photography to the next level? Learn the secret posing strategies, learn how to storyboard, learn how to art direct, learn how to light a model at the highest level, work with supermodels, photograph something that's so elite, so over the top that it's going to kick your photographic career to a whole nother echelon. Whether it's Miami Beach shooting swim models, whether it's Elite Masterclass in LA, whether it's our Virginia workshop on equestrian lifestyle, whether it's Las Vegas on high fashion, whether you're coming to my 49-room castle in France, whatever that is, I want you to tell me. I'd love to hear from you guys. Tell me what it is that you guys want, and how likely are you to come, 10 being, yeah, I'm ready to sign up. I'd love to come one of these experiences. Tell me, I'd be very, very interested to know because we direct these experiences for our photographers to help you guys achieve the greatest images of your lifetime. And in all the years I've been doing this, directing workshops for 13 years, you directed over 145 of these elite experiences. We've had the opportunity to take photographers that have been portrait photographers or, low-end headshot photographers to be able to shoot for Dolce & Gabbana, to be able to get published in Vogue, to be able to achieve winning massive photographic awards. Just this last year alone at our photographic workshops, we won 107 photographic awards, including the One Island Awards, including the Color Awards, Lurzer's Archive, Communication Arts. And as you can see right here, our photographers are award winning. All these images were art directed and directed by me and photographed by our photographers, winning in the top 10 fashion photographers in America this last year. 7 out of 10 of them were from the photography workshop series in the One Island Awards. And to me, I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of my photographers. I'm proud of their success. I think it is absolutely imperative that you guys are winning awards, you're getting published, because we want you shooting campaigns. That's what this is all about. So that if you want success as a photographer and you want to achieve greatness, you've got to have the portfolio. You have to have a world-class image, 40 image cohesive body of work. And within that 40 image cohesive body of work, your portfolio is only as strong as your weakest image. And your images are only as strong as the models and the talent in your images. So if you have, I don't care how great the photography is, if it's unbelievable photography, beautiful lighting, perfect, everything in retouching, but the model is mediocre, it's some just weak, mediocre model, you know what? It's not going to do it. It's not going to do it justice. However, on the flip side, if you photograph supermodels with the greatest models in the world right at your fingertips, just like you see here at our epic workshops, you're winning awards with these images. You're creating what I would call iconic images, images that just blow away the audience. That's what these images are. And many of the photographers that are on right now, actually, we have some of these photographers that are award-winning on this webinar right now, and it's good to see you guys. But we have all these amazing award-winning photographers from Jane Ritchie, Enoch Chan, John Wooten, Nick Seth Smith, Evan Siegel, Mike Weilet, Joey Strotz. These guys are all winning awards because they attended our workshops. And they're winning awards with images shot at the photography workshop series. And these images were from Las Vegas experience, fashion workshop. It's from the Elite Masterclass in LA and our New York fashion experience. So it's really awesome to see you guys here. And also, great to see you guys, with the likeliness to attend a workshop. Looks like most of you guys are in the the 8+ range, which is awesome that you guys want to attend one of these. I definitely recommend it. It's why I do this. And just to give you guys an idea of where I came from, I'm a fashion photographer. And I'm somebody that I did my bachelor's and my MFA to be a professor of photography. I'm the TV host, director, and executive producer of the TV show Great Escapes that airs on CBS. It airs on Saturdays currently. And I also shoot large scale ad campaigns. So I'm shooting campaigns for, in the last 2 months, I shot 2 campaigns for Burberry. I have another one for Burberry coming up. I also just bid on a $90,000 shoot to do Giorgio Armani. I've got campaigns going all the time, and I'm a busy photographer and TV director. And this is what I do. I'm shooting campaigns, I'm doing productions at the highest level, and I'm here to help you guys do the same, because that's my goal, is to help you achieve greatness, to help you achieve the greatest photography of your lifetime, because that's why I design these workshops. I want you to achieve the same kind of success that I have. Okay. Really important to me. Because, if you guys are just out there photographing content, but it's not being published in major magazines, it's not at the highest level, you're not shooting stuff for major advertising campaigns. Well, you know what? We need to change that. We need to start achieving greatness, because that's what this is all about. And if you're not doing it at the highest level, that means that you've got so much unfulfilled potential. And I want you to fulfill your potential. I want you to be as successful as possible. I want you to achieve all of the dreams that you want to achieve in your photography. I want you to be able to do that. And that's why I do these workshops. I design them for you. I design them for my photographers. And here, I'm even going to show you an example of my reel. This gives you guys an idea of one of my video production reels from one of my production companies.
There will be good times and epic.
And this is the kind of content that we shoot. We shoot stuff at the highest level. And about half of the content you see on here was shot at our photographic workshops, my television shows, and then the rest is all from my TV commercials and large-scale productions that we've done. But this is the kind of stuff that we're doing. And if your video reel doesn't look like this right now, I don't care if you're a photographer or if you do videography, even if you are just a still photographer, if you don't have a video reel that looks like this, you are missing out on a massive amount of work, a massive amount of photographic work, by the way, not just video, because this is the future. This is the future of photography, is video production. And you see the quality of this content. You've got world-class top models. You have really well art-directed scenes. You have great design, great casting. You have great posing, great camera angles, amazing lighting. All of the details come together to put together this world-class shoot, whether it's photographic or video. And what's awesome, and which I haven't even mentioned, but that amazing video that you watched from Miami Beach Workshop, which was just a month ago, to also the content that you see here, shot at workshops. Most of this content in my reel, over half of it was shot at workshops.
That was fun.
And the rest of it was shot on my TV show and TV commercials. And then the amazing video content that we shot, that I've been showing you from the Miami Beach Workshop, it allows you to develop this amazing reel, this amazing video reel, where you can use this content and start booking campaigns, start booking TV commercials yourself, start booking photographic magazine editorials and advertising campaigns. Because if you want to be successful in photography, I recommend you work towards being at the highest level, meaning shooting unbelievable work, showcasing that to clients and booking large-scale ad campaigns like $90,000 jobs for Giorgio Armani. There's no reason you guys shouldn't be shooting those. But with my help and with the direction of what we give you guys at our photographic workshops, I can help you get there. I promise that. It all starts with developing that amazing photographic portfolio, and it allows you guys to be able to achieve all of the photographic goals that you ever wanted to achieve. That's what this is all about. If you haven't set up a photographic strategy session yet, then definitely make sure to do that if you haven't just yet. Yeah. So also, this is great questions on the chat, but make sure to, those of you guys who are chatting, like for instance, Priscilla, make sure to also share your answers with everyone, not just the panelists and the other photographers, because I know that there's a lot of chatter on there and this is great, but make sure that you are messaging this to everyone, because I think that you've been messaging most of these messages to me. All right, guys. So really, really great question. And I'm really excited for you guys to kind of take your photography to the next level. So I want to hear from you guys. Do you guys have any questions about posing? Do you have any questions about how to cast and book these type of models? Do you have any questions about how to produce a shoot like this? All right. So from Renee, what type of strobe lighting is recommended for just starting out in off-camera flash? Okay, great question, Renee. So what I would recommend is generally for photographing swim photography, Renee, I would recommend photographing with natural light. I don't recommend using a lot of strobes. Now, I have strobes with me wherever I go, whether I'm shooting swim or whether I'm shooting lifestyle or fashion, but I bring strobes. But with swim photography, I definitely really love to incorporate natural light. And what I mean by that is manipulation of natural light. Really, really, really important. Okay. So when I have the sets like I've been showing you, what we're doing is we're doing a manipulation of natural light, meaning we're scrimming and bouncing the models. And you guys probably saw in that video, we had giant bounces set set off to the side. So we have these amazing bounces, and what that's doing is it's allowing the beautiful natural light to bounce in towards the model. So that's what I'd recommend. Now, if you are going to incorporate some strobes, then I would definitely recommend ProPhoto. ProPhoto is by far the best quality of all strobes. It's definitely going to be a type of lighting that's very consistent. I use pro photo across the board, especially on my fashion shoots. And that would be what I would recommend. If you guys have on-camera flashes, I would recommend you immediately sell them on eBay. Okay. Sell them on eBay, or if it's not worth much, throw it away. It's not worth it. On-camera flash is going to create horrible lighting. I mean, I know there are some wedding photographers that might need it if they're in a really dark area, like, within a church or something, and you're trying to photograph a wedding. But if you're not a wedding photographer, and those are the only circumstances I would probably use this. Any other circumstance, definitely never use on-camera flash. Always use strobes that are off camera. Usually set them to about a 45-degree angle. Or if we're shooting lifestyle or swim, use giant bounces and scrims. I like the 8x8 foot scrim jim from Westcott. That's definitely my favorite. Absolutely. All right, guys, but definitely some great questions here that are coming in. Okay, so Mike Smith asks, what do I need to know how to book these models? Doesn't the client, or why do I need to know how to book these models? Doesn't the client book a model through the agent? What do I have to do with it? Great question, Mike. Well, if you're booking a campaign for any client, usually at the highest level, usually you are casting the models. So whenever I do a casting for a client, or whenever I book a shoot for a client, I'm the one choosing the models. And if your client wants to choose the models, then you've got a much bigger problems on your hands, because oftentimes clients choose terrible models, in my experience. I've been doing this a long time, and on a lot of my big ad campaigns, I have had clients try to select the models sometimes, and I really do everything I can to prevent that from happening, because they have terrible taste. They're going to choose models that maybe people they know, or they're basically going to create problems. So definitely, I wouldn't recommend the client booking the models. You are booking the models on behalf of the client based upon the parameters of the job. So I handle the models, I bill them into my budget, and I also bill in the casting into my budget, which is really important. So make sure that include that in your production budget, not only the model cost and the agency cost of the models, but also the casting of the models. Okay. So, and if you guys want to see what that looks like, I'll actually show you live what an actual budget looks like. Because this is a good question. This is a campaign that I'd shot for a brand. It was like a hair and beauty brand. You saw some of the video in that reel. And this is our budget. I believe this was the first shoot I did for them. It was $100,000 shoot for 2 days. And here's the budget for the models. So it was total $9,600 for the budget for the models. It was, we did $2,000 per day plus agency for each model times 4 models, right? Times 2 days. So that's how we, or we had 2, I believe. Yeah, we had 2 on one day and 2 on another day. So, but when we're doing this, I was very careful how I did this casting. I directed this casting at a casting studio in LA. I contacted the top 15 modeling agencies in LA. And I told them the parameters of what I wanted. And they sent me all these amazing options. Then I picked from the top, I had about maybe 400 options to choose from. I selected my top 50 models and I invited them to the casting. Those models came to the casting. I photographed them at the casting, and I actually took some video of them. And then I dialed that down to my top 8 models. So when I went back to the client, which has final say, I brought my top 8 models to the client. And it was interesting because out of the 4 models that I really wanted, well, out of the 8 models I presented to the client, they chose 3 out of 4 of them that I wanted. And the 4th one was fantastic. And it's actually one that I really wanted, but I was going to choose one that was an older demographic based on what the client wanted. Then they changed their mind. So in the end, I booked all 4 that I really, really wanted, which is great. But you want to make sure to present the client with only the best of the best. And by the way, guys, this is a typical production budget for shoots that I do. And this kind of gives you an idea. This is an actual campaign budget. Where, for the fees, I'm, making $40,000 as like creative and usage and post-production fee. And then also another $3,400 in casting that I'm billing, then billing them also for my director fee, which is another $5,000 a day, 1 day pre-production, 2 days of production, and then 1 day post-production. So another 15,000. I also was the producer on this. So I also billed in as a producer fee, another $3,600. And I also worked as a cinematographer on this, but I'm going to bill it, all of it, because I'm wearing all those hats. I could have hired somebody else, but I wore all those hats. And then of course I hired the rest of the people, producer, writer, camera operators, first AC, second AC, gaffer, grip, production assistants, wardrobe stylists, makeup artists, hairstylists, all that stuff. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question. But those are some great questions. Definitely you want to control the casting. Okay, so Keenan asks, great models, may we hire them through you or directly from agencies? What's a typical day rate? Well, this gives you an idea. I mean, this is for they're there for a typical day. They can range from anywhere from like 2,000 to 8,000 a day. That's a typical day rate for these world-class models. If they're celebrity models, like really big name ones, then it goes up. Then it could be 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 a day. If it's a big time top supermodel, one that's like, name recognized. So, like if you're shooting Irina Shayk or something, like their budget's going to be more, but generally models are in that range. And don't book the models through me, because I'm a photographer and director. I'm booking models. I would recommend going directly to the modeling agencies. So go to the top modeling agencies in your area. I like, in Miami, there's Elite, Wilhelmina, Next, Front. There's some great modeling agencies down in Miami. In LA, there's about 15 top agencies. In New York, there's probably 20 top agencies. Definitely reach out to the agencies. But here's kind of the secret that most of you guys don't know, is that to get those models, to book those top models, it's not like just anybody can book them. Because the thing is, unless you have just a ridiculous budget and you're like, hey, I've got, $50,000 to spend on models. Otherwise, you won't even be able to work with these models, because the modeling agencies won't even let you. Because oftentimes, guys, if you don't have this A-list body of work, if you don't have a video reel like this or a photographic portfolio like this to showcase to those agencies, they won't even think twice about casting those models and giving you those amazing models. Because for them, they only want to work with the top photographers and directors in the world. And they're very protective of their models. So if they can't completely trust you, if they see that you're a wedding photographer or a portrait photographer or headshot photographer, and then you go to cast models and you want to, work with their A-list team, they're not going to work with you. They're not going to work with you. It's just the way it is. And that's one of the reasons that the photography workshop series is such an advantage, because you guys, what I can bring to the table is I give you guys my access. I give you access to the best models in the world, because I've been working with these models for, modeling agencies for many years, and I built relationships with them. So they know me, they trust me, and they know that, like, okay, if I work with Kevin Michael Schmitz, even on one of Kevin Michael Schmitz's epic photographic workshops, then I know that the images and the video are going to be absolutely epic, and I trust him. So I'll work with him. Right. So like, for instance, this is our Las Vegas experience. So if we're casting, these type of top models, you're going to be, when I go to the agencies, they're going to give me the pick of the litter, the best of the best. And that's absolutely key. Okay. So, all right. So let's answer some more questions. All right. So, all right. So these are some great questions. I know, let's see. Okay, so okay, I'm just going through questions here. Love this. Okay. So where can we find the type of poses I was referring to? So Greg, I would say that the best way to do that is, look on Pinterest. Look up some of the top magazines. If you're interested in swim, look up Sports Illustrated. If you're interested in, also maybe look up Victoria's Secret. Also look up other swim companies, and start building that body of work on Pinterest. And I love Pinterest because it gives you an opportunity to see all kinds of different content, and it kind of correlates and brings them all to you. By the way, this is the French Castle. I'm flying here next week. Flying to my 49-room castle in France, and we're going to be photographing there as well. We've got ad campaigns, editorials, and also I'm filming for a major TV show for Netflix this summer, as well as Great Escapes that airs on CBS. So I've got a lot going on, and I'm going to be flying there on Wednesday, so I'm really excited. But this is the French Castle experience, and we actually have an epic photographic workshop at the French Castle where you get to stay at this 49-room castle. We have a butler on staff. We have a massage therapist there. We're actually installing a jacuzzi on the 6th level of the square tower. We are going to be shooting a massive scale production, actually a series of 4 different productions throughout the week. And we're going to be shooting with supermodels brought in from Milan and Paris. And because I've got this unbelievable body of work that I've developed over my career, I can go to the top agencies in Milan and Paris, and they can give me the best models that they have. And I can book them to come out and work with us at that amazing production, to give you an idea. So, and by the way, guys, each one of these experiences is totally different than the next, whether it's New York, the French Castle, Miami Beach, Los Angeles, Virginia. All these incredible experiences, they're all a bit different. This is our New York experience, shot on location in New York. We shoot in studio, we shoot on rooftops in New York, we photograph out at these unbelievable spots with a full vista overlooking Manhattan. And we even shot sequences out on location in the Hamptons and created some unbelievable content as well. So really exciting, all the stuff that we have going on. And I'm super stoked about each and every one of these that we do, because we work with the best of the best models in the world. So great questions. All right. So guys, if you are interested in shooting at the highest level, join us on one of these experiences. Come and at least, if you guys, maybe are hemming and hawing, aren't sure yet, then at least come and do a one-on-one strategy session with one of my photographic consultants, see what they can do to help you, totally free. And you can start thinking about kind of the next steps in your photographic career. But guys, being successful in photography all boils down to the 3 core pillars in photography. Number 1 is your portfolio and your photographic brand. Okay, your portfolio and your photographic brand are the core to your photography. And if the brand is not absolutely world class, it's not, if you're shooting swim photography and it doesn't look like this, then your brand is not there. If your landing page on your website doesn't look like this, then your brand is not there. So it needs to be. You need to have the branding, and the portfolio has to be there. And the branding is your portfolio, your website, your print promo pieces, your leave behinds, your business cards, your logo, your design, the topography, all the stuff that's related to your brand and who you are and your name. That's your brand. And your portfolio is a big part of it. Okay. Now, on top of that, the next big pillar in photography is going to be marketing. And it's marketing out to that audience. Getting out to the people that you want to work with, getting out to the people that you want them to book you on campaigns, swim editorials, advertising campaigns, whatever that is. And if it's consumer clients, it's getting out to those people. And then the third pillar is booking the client and closing the deal. And this is where a lot of photographers struggle with. And I get a lot of photographers that come to us, they build this epic portfolio, they start marketing themselves, and then they have a hard time closing the deal. And we actually happen to have a workshop specifically designed to help photographers close the deal. And it's actually called the Closing the Deal Workshop. And it's one of the workshops that we offer as a virtual workshop experience. It's a 6-hour intensive. And it's all about the business of photography and closing the deal and booking more clients. It's something that I always highly recommend. This is also an opportunity. So if you guys are interested in any of our virtual experiences, they're $12.95. And if you come in because you watched this webinar, we offer a $300 discount, so you can get in for $9.95. And the best part is not only will you get the 6-hour intensive to learn how to book more clients, land those $100,000 ad campaigns, book those top type of shoots, but also it counts as a full credit towards any of our 5-day workshops. So basically, you end up getting it for free, which is fantastic. So guys, if you guys are interested in something like that, definitely let me know. All right, so let's see. We also we're asked about like how many locations and what we do at these workshops. So just to give you an idea, each workshop is a bit different, but when we direct these workshops, they're over the course of 5 days, and each day we're generally shooting a whole new, fresh, and different production. Sometimes we're at locations for a few days and then shift to another location. Sometimes we're at a different location every day. It just depends on the workshop and how insane that location is and what we want to get out of it. But like we did in Miami Beach, we shot on location at a luxury resort in Miami Beach, on Miami Beach, and we got to photograph on Miami Beach, which is amazing. And then we went out to Key Biscayne and shot a few days out in Key Biscayne and shot lifestyle and swim photography out there, which is an unbelievable location. Almost looks like you're in Barbados. Everything just is fresh and clean and palm trees everywhere, and it's private. It's a lot harder to do something like this because it costs more, but we put so much into these productions. We brought RVs, like big RV motorhomes, out on production. We brought in all the equipment. My assistants were out there holding all the gear in the wind. And by the way, we were shooting this in 30-mile-an-hour winds throughout the entire week. And my assistants were holding all the gear, locking the gear to trees so it doesn't blow away. But somehow we're able to magically capture this unbelievable content at the Miami Beach experience. Really, really incredible. But guys, so remember, posing is everything. Having world-class top models, if you don't have that, then it's like not even worth shooting. Casting those models, it starts with a portfolio to reach out to those agencies and to be a known photographer, absolutely key. And then also, I want to make sure that you guys are shooting for yourselves, because a lot of photographers are not shooting for themselves. They're shooting for others, meaning they're like photographing for the models, photographing a model portfolio shoot, or maybe they're even shooting something for a portrait, meaning you're photographing for that person. I want you to start thinking about you and what you need out of it. Okay, because that's the only thing that matters. Also, create unbelievable video content, because honestly, some of the secrets of being successful in this is having video content like you see here. This is so even much more powerful than just the still content. Use posing guides when you're on location. Use giant scrims and bounces when you're on location, as opposed to strobes. When you look at all this amazing, like for instance, go back to my shared posing guide and you look at all these SI covers and such, a lot of these are not lit by strobes. These were lit by scrims and bounces. They're all natural. They're all real and authentic. And it looks just much more clean and fresh and vibrant and natural and real and not overlit. That's what I'm going for. And these are all great poses. Okay. Another secret that I want to reveal to you guys is the wardrobe. Okay, this is one of the most challenging things, because as a photographer, you want to shoot, with a fashion shoot or lifestyle shoot. You know what? Wardrobe is everything. On a swim shoot, it's a little bit different because it's more about the model, although the swimsuit has to be beautiful. I try to avoid a lot of really heavy patterns. I try to make them a bit more solid, or if it's kind of like a more simple pattern, that's cool too. And these are good examples, what we're looking at right here, of swimsuits. They're sexy, they're revealing, they're skimpy. The skimpier, the better it looks on the model's body. And also, the more simple it is, the more the model stands out. Okay. And I love this. And also start thinking about where to get the swimsuit. So this is one of the biggest challenges, because with fashion, we can always just order clothes. For every fashion shoot I do, for instance, the last couple of workshops we've directed in Virginia, down in the DC workshop, or in the lifestyle section of Miami, and also in Las Vegas, I ordered about $30,000 worth of wardrobe that I used. Then I bought it, we wore it, returned it. Also, my stylists came in, they pulled all this amazing wardrobe from showrooms. We shot it, we pulled it, we shot it, we returned it. With swimsuits, it's not so easy. Most brands will not give out swimsuits and then return them. Usually, even if you give out the swimsuit and you mail it back to them in its original packaging, they still won't give you a refund. It's like a sanitation thing. So for them, most swim brands, they have really stringent policies on swim returns. So that's a big problem. Also, I've discovered over all this time that when I book wardrobe stylists, oftentimes the wardrobe stylists, because of this issue, the wardrobe stylists generally don't bring a lot of great swimsuits. And that's a problem, obviously. So, I want to have really, really great swimsuits. I want to have beautiful stuff that fits the model well, that's relevant, that's in. Oftentimes, wardrobe stylists will kind of go lazy and they'll bring what's in their own collection or whatever. So what I would recommend is finding there are certain brands that do have very, very generous return policies, even on swim. Okay. I really like ordering stuff from Nordstrom, because Nordstrom, obviously, they have like most generous return policy in the world. They generally are great. I also have had really good experience with Venus. And Venus is a lot of the apparel that you see here is from Venus. And Venus is great because I've like literally went out and shot with a collection of 75 swimsuits from Venus. Half of them were wet and sandy. Throw them in the box, mail them back to Venus. They give me a refund. That's pretty awesome and unusual. So it's something that, just think about that. There are certain brands that are willing to do it. But what's kind of funny, you guys, is I've done this so many times with Venus that I weirdly got this call. Like right after the Miami Beach workshop, I mailed everything in, and Venus calls me up, and it was their VP of marketing, and they were like questioning me about this. They're like, "Hey, did you just use all these swimsuits for a photo shoot? Because like we're not supposed to return them like that." And she was like, kind of, and I was like, uh-oh, they're now calling me out on this. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. If this is coming from the returns department, why is the VP of marketing calling me? And the VP of marketing, she said, oh, well, we normally don't like that, but I tell you what, I looked you up, and the work that you've been shooting with our swimsuits is so amazing. I want to hire you on our next campaign for Venus. So believe it or not, guys, that kind of stuff happens. Don't worry about stepping on people's toes. Don't worry about breaking the rules. It actually can benefit you in the end. Okay. So definitely start thinking about that. So, all right. And okay, so Roxanne, you asked a question. So if you're setting swimsuits back, if you're using them, we're using them for the photo shoot. So I don't have a need for 75 swimsuits for myself. Okay. So we're going to use them for the photo shoot. And we're going to mail them back. So that's definitely the way to go. You could call swim companies, absolutely, but that's a lot harder to do. A lot of swim companies are small companies, and a lot of them aren't going to supply you with like 75 free swimsuits to shoot with. That's really unusual. I do often get swim companies to be a part of it, and we call that a pull. But again, swim brands are a lot less open to doing this than, say, a fashion brand that they can allow you to pull and then return. But a great question, Roxanne. I appreciate your questions and comments. That's fantastic. Okay, so let's see. Love to answer any more questions you guys have in the Q&A. So Amy Merchant asked, where are these workshops held? Do you have any footage of the journey? So great question, Amy. So we hold these workshops all over the world. We have them in LA, New York, Miami, Chicago, Virginia for our equestrian workshop, Newport Beach. We have them. We've done them in Colorado, up in the mountains, up at 11,000 feet. We've done them in Atlanta, Dallas. We got New York is one of the most popular ones. Miami is one of the most popular ones. We have that at my castle in France. We do them all over the world. We even have one that we're planning for Australia. So if you want to take a look, here is the full list of all the workshops we have on the agenda right now, from New York in September, the masterclass in October. We've got Newport Beach in February, Las Vegas is in March, Miami in April, et cetera. So that's kind of essentially our schedule. If you're interested in any of these, we have them all over the world. And that's one of the reasons we call it the Photography Workshop Series, because it's a series of epic photographic workshops that we do. And our photographers that attend often come to many of them. They often come to several workshops over time because they want to build that body of work that is absolutely iconic and they want to be, seen as a national photographer. So no matter where you're located, really important to build your brand as a national photographer. So you're not just located in one place. So that's another reason we do them in all these different cities, because we have photographers all over, but we also, most of our photographers travel in and they fly into each and every one of these cities. But excellent question there, Amy. So Maurice asked, how many models are at a swim photo shoot? Great question. So Maurice, we generally have, we start off small. So in day one, it's a bit overwhelming with everything that we're going to be teaching on day one on the business of photography, maximizing yourself as a world-class swim photographer, art direction, posing, connecting with decision makers, all of that. And then we bring in 2 to 3 world-class top models that are some of the biggest models in the world. Then on the next day, we're generally going to have 4 models, maybe even 5. Then on the next day, the same. And we're going to keep building. So eventually it's anywhere from 3 to 5. Sometimes we've even had 7 or 8 models at a workshop, which is pretty incredible. So we just depends on the workshop, but really great question. We have a lot of models. In fact, sometimes too many models, but I always like to be very careful with making sure that we have as much talent as possible in case, one model, has a problem, they get sick, or, or they don't have the right look and you want to boot them and you want to, keep the best of the best of the best. So I always I overbook for these shoots because I want to make sure that you have everything at your fingertips and you have the best of the best talent. Also, I like to shoot, now swim, of course, it's usually a single model scene, but sometimes I also like to shoot scenes where there's multiple models in the scene. For instance, if it's like a lifestyle shoot, doing like a multi-model scene is really dynamic, and it's something that can be really useful for your portfolio, having a multi-model sequence. And that's where it's really convenient to have like 3 or 4 models. Our Miami Beach workshop last year, I think we had one of the days where we had 6 models in a scene. It was absolutely insane. All right, so guys, I've got all these amazing photographers on here, and I'd love to have here also, and not only answer some more questions, but also hear from some of our panelists that I would love to have on. So for instance, Priscilla Evans, I'm going to bring her on shortly and hear from her perspective as a production coordinator and a coach for photographers, giving advice on, what she sees in photographers' businesses and portfolios, and, what they might need as far as, achieving the kind of success that they've always wanted to achieve. So Priscilla, I'd love to hear from you. I mean, you've attended our Miami Beach workshop multiple times. You've helped produce it as a production coordinator. You've helped bring in all these amazing animals to the shoots. The last workshop we did in DC just 2 weeks ago, we actually shot with baby lemurs. We shot with kangaroos. We shot with 13 like equestrian or 13 polo horses at an equestrian center. And you're bringing in all these amazing animals. In Colorado, we shot with Bactrian camels that are like the size of an elephant. We photographed with reindeer. We shot with alpacas in Newport Beach. So all these amazing animals. You coordinate incredible mansion estate locations that we actually just shot at these locations that are just out of this world. So Priscilla, I would love to hear from you. What do you feel like is the most important facet of achieving success as a world-class top photographer at the highest level? You coach photographers all the time. What do you think is one of the most important factors in being successful as a photographer?
Yeah, thank you for having me on, Kevin. So I get to do a lot of amazing things with the workshops and with working with our amazing teams all around the world. And specifically, we did just get back from DC. Virginia was amazing. I actually fell in love with the area while I was there. It was just green rolling hills and all these amazing mansion estates that we got to do so much with, and bring in kangaroos and lemurs. It's pretty ridiculous, the things we get up to. But yeah, I definitely think that if you're passionate about what you do, as a photographer, you're shooting for other people, you're shooting for other brands, and you're working with all these other clients. And at each of those jobs, you're putting in so much time and so much energy, as well as, what it takes to produce it, which, is a huge amount of effort on your part. Why not do the exact same thing, but for yourself and for your own brand? If the goal is to be doing this for everyone else, you've got to be able to showcase that you can do it for yourself. So I guess the biggest leap to success, especially I've been, pretty busy in the chat, and we've got a big range of photographers on today. We've got everyone from sort of beginners to part-time photographers that are looking at how to juggle their time, the best, and to get the most out of their business. And I think that's really interesting. If you're part-time, you almost need to be more specific and more selective about who your clients are, because you only have so much time to give to it, but if that's you, and even if you're shooting all the time, or you're doing the big campaigns already, the leap and that difference between where you are now and wherever the next goal is in terms of your success, it's in investing in yourself, and sometimes that's a really big jump and a big struggle to do, especially early on. If you haven't built up enough revenue yet with the business, how do you invest? Well, there's all sorts of strategies there, but in order to do it, you've got to invest. That's not just money, I'm talking time as well, time and energy and effort into building the brand. And that's, that means not going out and shooting for every single client and saying yes to everyone. I'm a big believer in valuing yourself. There's a lot of Facebook groups and all sorts of groups out there for photographers, and some of the posts are pretty horrendous. Oh, got an offer for 250, the client wants to pay me for a day or whatever. I mean, my God, like, who has time for that these days? I think everyone's time is worth so much more than often what they value it to be, and the same goes for the time you spend on yourself and on your brand. That's everything. It's going to determine and predetermine the budgets you land with the clients that you have. It's going to predetermine the clients you attract, the clients that are most impressed. And like Kevin was saying, they saw that swim company, Venus, they saw his brand and they approached him, which is pretty rare. Normally, you're the one as the photographer that has to go out there and fight, for the opportunity to work for someone. It's not like that in many other industries, where you argue and kind of battle your way to the end, of the opportunity to provide a service. But yeah, investing and just building the best brand you can. Ask yourself, who are the dream clients, or what's the dream, the goal. I ask photographers this all the time. Is it a revenue goal? Is it a client goal? Is it a type of photography goal? Whatever that is will set up the kind of, brand that you need to have. And that means top quality models. Remember a couple of those golden rules. Your portfolio is only as strong as its weakest image. Your images are only as strong as the quality of the models in those images. And of course, when you start to compare them and you start to look at multiple model scenes and on location scenes, you can really start to put some numerical, like almost quantitative data behind your portfolio and start to assess like the true production value that it carries all the way through. Maybe you've got stronger images and not so strong images. Maybe it needs to have someone else's eye over it. It can often be difficult to see it, yourself objectively. So always happy to do that. We always do consults and do them all for free. Always happy to jump on. It doesn't matter where you're at, where the goal is, and if there's nothing there to invest in yourself right now, we're still happy to jump on, talk about maybe strategizing a plan to achieve that and to get that at some point. We really are a fast tracking kind of experience. If the goal is something that seems pretty insurmountable, what we can do can really speed up that process, and it's pretty fun. It's honestly awesome. It's very energizing, and all the photographers that come to the workshops really do leave with so much more. They're normally tired after some of the days because they're pretty big days, but they do leave with a lot more energy and just passion and excitement for everything that you do. And it's great to really devote some time, be it a week of the year or something, to investing in yourself and your brand and what that means for, your growth going forward.
Priscilla, we have a great question here. This is from one of our amazing photographers on here, Roxanne. She says, does the website list the price of the in-person workshops on the website? I'm assuming we bring our own cameras. Are there any limitations to the photos taken?
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So Roxanne, yes, our website does have all of the prices of everything that we do. We do in-person workshops, we do virtual workshops. So there's really something for everyone. Our in-person workshops are 2, 3, 4, or 5 days long. So it really just depends on you and what your budget and what that is. We do have something for everyone. Assuming we bring our own cameras, yes, so bring your own cameras. Trust me, we've had all sorts of crazy things happen over like the 12 or 13 years that we've been doing this. And if something were to happen, we've got plenty of backup cameras and solutions there, but bring your own. And any limitation to the photos taken. Yeah, so they're all for portfolio and editorial use as well. There's tons of social content that you always get throughout the week as well. So obviously you can't sell the images like, if we're shooting something and we throw a Coca-Cola can in it, obviously you can't sell that image to Coca-Cola. But in terms of usage, you absolutely can use that image in a creative brief to approach Coca-Cola and land a campaign with them. So there's a lot of advantages to what we do. You can kind of create anything to approach any brand that you want. And with product, especially beverage and easy things like that, so easy to throw it into a scene. Put it in, you've just got yourself a full-on campaign that looks like you organized and shot, specifically for that brand. And it sets you up really, really nicely to kind of have a really strong opening communication with that brand, specifically when it comes to kind of products like that. And, obviously with one beverage in an image, or honestly, even none at all, you can still approach any beverage company and land it. It's just nice, obviously, to be ultra specific if you've got a communication already going on with a company, especially a Fortune 500 company like that.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Priscilla, for all that amazing insight. And you are an incredible resource and inspiration for many of our photographers. You work with, I would say, a huge amount of our world-class photographers that are now achieving incredible success. And it's all because they've attended these experiences, have been coached by Priscilla, and Priscilla is making this magic happen, helping with all this production coordination. So thank you so much, Priscilla. Great answers. I can't wait to see you at the next production.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, definitely. We incorporate everything that we are asked to, and that we have these crazy requests, so if there's a dream shoot, we didn't really say that today, but if there is a dream shoot that you've ever wanted to create or have in your own portfolio, come and talk to us about it, because collaborating with a group of people to put on a big production is a perfect way to kind of achieve that and create it and save you a huge amount of money in doing so, because these are not, we don't go half in, we go all in with these experiences, and the production value, trust me, it's there.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Priscilla. All right. So, guys, I, wanted to also answer a few more questions and also talk a little bit about what does swimsuits really entail? So, you see images like this, right? This is an incredible swimsuit. This girl's been in Sports Illustrated, unbelievable shoot, great lighting, beautiful stuff. But compare this also to this. This is obviously spun, and it's kind of a swim lifestyle shoot. Shot on location in Miami Beach, where it's, gorgeous, it's hot out, it's comfortable, there's a beautiful beach, it's warm. But the difference is on this day, it was like 85 degrees. And on this day, it was, I believe, 39 degrees. So this was actually shot in Montauk in the east coast of Long Island in New York I think it was in like late February, early March. Miserable time to shoot swim, but this is what happens a lot of times. Swim brands, they want to get their stuff out there for the swim season, for the summer season, and they're going to be shooting it early. So oftentimes swim shoots are shot at cold times of year, and there's all kinds of secrets to like warming the model's feet, or warming them up, or having them sit on like a heating pad or something like that, so that they feel comfortable. Because even though this was shot when it was 39 degrees out, this model does not seem uncomfortable. She looks amazing. And a lot of that is really important to get their expressions to look nice. I mean, although this is a very difficult shoot, and we did I think we shot, which I don't know if I've ever done this before, but I think we shot 7 locations in one day with 3 Sports Illustrated models out in and around Montauk. And it was an amazing shoot. And it was the cover of magazines and, editorials and stuff like that. But it was very, very challenging and miserably cold. Whereas a shoot like this, just like at our workshop, it's so comfortable and warm and beautiful and easy to shoot. So, but great questions, guys. And I'm glad that you guys asked them to Priscilla, because she is the core of what we do, and she can help you guys every step of the way. And if you guys are interested in attending any of these amazing experiences, our website is in the chat, photographyworkshopseries.com. Please click on that, take a look, browse through everything, because we have a lot of amazing resources on here, not just incredible videos, also all the stuff about the epic workshops, each workshop, what it entails, all the details, including like Priscilla mentioned, if you need a camera or anything at the workshop, we include everything. We include all the lighting. We bring in over $100,000 worth of location lighting. We bring in all the wardrobe, the models, the locations. We bring in my top chefs, so the food is incredible because catering is absolutely key. We ship in all this amazing wardrobe. We go to these multi-million-dollar estates. Like here, we shot this one in Key Largo in Miami, it's just south of Miami. And then photographers, if they needed an extra camera, I bring in usually like 5 professional cameras. So I have extra cameras for photographers to use. So if they want to shoot with like a Canon R5 or something, shooting a 45 megapixel, they've got access to world-class camera equipment and all the lenses. And most importantly, we're shooting with gimbals as well. So we've got gimbals, underwater photography, and aerial drone at the Miami Beach Workshop, just to give you kind of an idea. But each experience is very, very different. And each experience is absolutely epic and over the top. And if you guys are interested in attending any of these experiences, we're working with models from Harper's Bazaar, from Vogue, from Vanity Fair, and we're shooting content that is just absolutely out of this world and award winning. And I want that to be you guys. I want you guys to be all winning awards. But all the information can be found on photographyworkshopseries.com. That is the website. And I recommend you guys all go check it out. And also, if you guys haven't already, make sure to set up a one-on-one Zoom strategy session with one of our expert photographic consultants, because they're here to help guide you every step of the way. And I would definitely recommend setting up a momentum session, because I think that every photographer needs something to help guide them going forward. Okay, so so Roxanne, you asked a great question. You mentioned that you're from San Diego. You've been moving around. You cover, do they cover grading, touch-ups, et cetera, or is it just photography? So great question. So I think you're referring to retouching. So in regarding to retouching, our retouching workshop intensive, which is an opportunity, it's $12.95, but if you enroll with during this workshop, you actually can get a $300 discount. So if you are interested, let us know. And we do cover color grading in detail. How to master essentially color correction, advanced retouching, skin retouching, and we actually cover not just fashion photography, but also retouching landscape photography, swim photography, portrait photography, wedding photography, all of that. So really, really excellent question. And actually in person at the workshops, we go in depth on all aspects of photography, from lighting techniques, posing, art direction, storytelling, the business of photography, maximizing your photography, taking it to the next level, and then most importantly, shooting the greatest images you've ever shot in your life, guaranteed. Just like you see here. And the objective is to win major awards, book more clients, make more money per shoot, and be the most successful version of a photographer that you want to be. And if you just want to come and enjoy it and just have an experience of a lifetime, we also offer the experience for hobbyists as well. We have a lot of hobbyists that also love coming to these experiences and coming to Las Vegas or coming to New York and shooting with supermodels and having that experience, or coming to my French castle, that 49-room castle, and having an experience that you would never get anywhere else. And that's why we have a 95% re-enrollment rate at our workshops, because our photographers that come often come to 2, 3, sometimes even 4 workshops with us per year. And we've had some photographers like Hans actually attend, I think he would do 8 workshops a year, like literally every single workshop we do in a year. And he would just come workshop after workshop because he wanted to develop this unbelievable body of content, this incredible video reel, and to create the greatest images of his lifetime and start from where we was at and escalate that to a whole nother level and be the greatest version of himself. And that's what we're here for. We're here to help our photographers, and we're here to help guide them and give them all aspects to be as successful as possible. And by the way, it's so good to see so many of you guys on here. Bert, buddy, good to see you, man. It was so awesome working with you at our workshop in person. Crystal Bear, I know we've talked about you and also all the amazing video content we've been watching. I know you did a ton of that as a camera operator. David Gasbret, good to see you, buddy. You're one of the top photographers I've ever had a chance to bring to our workshops, which I'm really proud to have you as a part of. And I can't wait to do our one-on-one together, which is going to be absolutely incredible. And I look forward to seeing you in some upcoming experiences as well. In fact, the great David Gesprecht, who's on right now, this is his website, and some of the content that he shot at the workshops just like this as well. Really incredible to see this, and I can't wait to see you take it to the highest level. Good to see you, Jeffrey. I can't wait to work with you as well. I've got 2 one-on-ones I'm going to be doing with you, Jeffrey, and excited to make that happen and put that into action. And Luis Castillo, this is going to be your first workshop, so awesome to have you on. Love to have you, man, and can't wait to work with you one-on-one personally. And of course, the great Michael Weilet, which I'm really proud of what Mike has been able to achieve, because not only has he won in the awards of top fashion photographers of the year and winning in the One Island Awards, but Mike has also been one of our amazing photographers that has achieved getting publication in number 8 magazine that just came out this month. Mike actually got the back cover, which is pretty fantastic. And I'm really proud of this editorial. We ended up getting like a 60-page editorial for our Vegas shoot, and then also about a 24-page editorial for the fashion elite masterclass that we did at the airfield. And this is Mike Weilet's work. So good to see your work, Mike. This looks absolutely incredible. Super proud of you to jump on and see this, because you are an absolute superstar when it comes to your photography, and it shows, because now we see you on the cover of a magazine, which is awesome, and getting multiple pages published, which is the goal. And it's what we've been doing like over and over again, getting our photographers published. Every single workshop we direct, we have at least 3 magazine editorial publications from our attendees at the workshop, every single workshop. And that's really impressive, not just domestically in America, but also internationally. This is published in Australia. So really incredible, and so proud of you, man. This is absolutely stunning. So, all right. And I have another great question. This is from David. How do I handle lighting if you have no assistant? That's a great question, David. Now, lighting, first of all, David, I think Priscilla mentioned this, but get some assistance. There's no reason you should be a photographer with no helpers, man. That's not only is that make it a lot harder for you, but it's also kind of dangerous. I think it's really important and safer to have assistants. When we were in Miami, I had 5 assistants on set with me. I basically had everybody, at all times holding my equipment, all the gear, holding the C stands, making sure the wind doesn't blow it down. I like to have a crew, even if you get one. But David, what I would recommend is, even if it's somebody from maybe your, a near city college or university where you could get a photography student to come be your intern, that would work. Even if you don't want to pay an assistant, get an intern, even a high school student, whatever. But there's always people willing to learn and help. And that's how I started. I started when I was 18 years old. I assisted as an intern to a photographer in my area. I grew up in West Michigan in a small village of 2,000 people. And I interned under, a photographer in the area as his intern. And you know what? It helped me so much grow. And I did it for about a year, and it was awesome. And I did it for free. And there's a lot of photographers that would be willing to do that. It's a learning experience, and it also helps you. But I also recommend hiring assistants. An assistant, usually costs between $300 and $600 a day to hire an assistant. I generally hire at least 3 assistants, sometimes 5 or 6, depending on the shoot. But I like to have helpers on set, especially when you're handling the giant scrims and bounces and all the strobes and stuff like that. You can't do it all yourself. So pretty important. And Jason, good to hear from you. Do you ever need assistance in the DC area? Absolutely. We were just in DC, and we just shot the most epic content on location in DC, and we are always looking for assistance. We had incredible assistance down there, and we shot a mind-blowing production at the Virginia workshop. So it was absolutely epic. And Jason, absolutely, we're always looking. And if you're in the DC area, definitely attend our DC Virginia workshop next year, where, this year, I mean, it was unbelievable, shooting with baby lemurs, shooting with supermodels that we flew in from New York, Miami, and LA, and also 13 different polo horses, and then photographing and filming with kangaroos. I mean, it was absolutely the most ridiculous thing we've ever done. And I'm really proud of this, insane production that we had at our fingertips. Our photographers were just like in heaven because it was just so ridiculous, so over the top. And it was something that I'll never forget. It's one of those experiences that's kind of, epic, and you'll never forget that experience that you had at that workshop. And that's kind of how these are, you guys. They're memorable. They're experiences that you'll have that they'll never forget for the rest of your life. You'll make friends, and you'll have connections that will help you in your career to come. And actually, here I'll actually even show you a little bit of a behind the scenes of what we just did in the DC workshop, Jason. And this is actually a couple of our photographers operating the gimbal. This is John Wooten operating the gimbal with Adriana Escalante and Jeannie Stack. They were directing the models. And we had all these models at this incredible multi-million-dollar mansion estate. This is in the Leesburg, Virginia area of DC. And then also this is a aerial shot of the mansion, and also our production. So you can see we have the giant bounces and scrims set up, and our team. So, and also these workshops, they're very, very one-on-one. They're very hands-on. They're not a big chaotic, crazy mess. They're very, very one-on-one. And we make sure that you get to, operate all the equipment and shoot at the highest level. And everything is just right there at your fingertips, so you can shoot the greatest images of your lifetime. And we guarantee that you'll get what you need, because I don't let you guys leave until you capture the best of the best of the best content. It's really important to me that you get that unbelievable content. And if you don't, then we make you go back and do it again, because it's really, really key to get the best content. And we don't let you leave until the content is captured. This is also a little behind the scenes video shot at the Virginia workshop we just did 2 weeks ago. And it even shows you a little bit of our crew and our team shooting. And I think I'm even in there actually wearing the shirt. And I'm actually art directing the scene, and you can see all our equipment and all the details and stuff like that, to give you kind of a little bit of behind the scenes of what the experience is really like. So anyway, but great questions. And look at this, we have horses all around at this polo center. It was unbelievable. Actually, the owner of this mansion estate he actually owns his own polo team, and gave us access to this incredible location and all these polo horses. And then on the next day, we shot with Gypsy Vanner horses, which have these insane manes. And then on the next day, we shot with kangaroos and baby lemurs. It was just out of this world. It was so unbelievable and ridiculous. And this is what you would get out of one of our lifestyle photographic workshops, where it looks just like out of a Free People ad campaign. So really, really key. All right, guys, I'm excited. I can't wait for you guys to check out these upcoming experiences. I can't wait to jump on with you and work with each and every one of you personally, one-on-one. And I'm here to help guide you and take your photography to the highest level. So if you guys want to achieve the highest level of your potential, you want to shoot high-level swim photography, fashion, lifestyle, advertising, or even consumer photography, I'm here to help guide you every step of the way. I can't wait to see you guys, and make sure to incorporate each and every detail I talked about today in your swim photography going forward.